in today's time, you also have Meesho making a lot of money, you also have Zara. I think when somebody is starting out, it's very important to understand the kind of product quality and the kind of cost structure you want to give.
You are creating an impact with simplicity. People tend to go for loud and extravagant things to be impactful. So, how are you navigating that?
From a 100K community to a brand that's changing fashion, Basata stands for more than just style. Led by Shruti, it's where every outfit tells a story and every drop builds a moment.
Today, entering into the fashion industry especially had become very easy because of Instagram and these other platforms, but sustaining it takes a lot of effort. The long-term growth would really be to have an offline store, to go global.
What's the USP that Basata stands for in the market?
You can have a lot of same things, but you can't have the same founder, so you have to.
You can not have the same founder.
Yeah, so your personal touch, your
I'll be
story.
quoting that in the description. Do you think India is losing its very own fashion sense, trying to accept the westernization?
No, I
Thank you so much for sitting down for this podcast, Shruti. It's an honor hosting you here with us and talking about your brand Basata. You've been doing great. I've seen the Instagram page itself and your page as well. So tell us who you were before starting your brand, before Basata came into existence.
I was a simple girl figuring out what to do in my college days. I was just working semester to semesters, figuring out okay, I need to do my MBA or whatever. I was preparing for CAT as well, and then I thought that okay, I want to do something of my own, and let's just take that risk. And I dropped everything else, started working on Basata. So yeah, before that, I was just like this 19-year-old girl figuring out the thoughts.
You started at 19?
Yeah, I started
Wow.
working on Basata when I was 19.
So the idea of it or the entire business?
No, the idea of it took us 4-5 months to build up the whole process. And then eventually in 2020, like 1 year later, we launched.
Basata.
Actually, yeah, we launched.
So you
Basata.
started like with the brand page.
Yeah, the brand page, yeah.
So how did you come up with this idea and the name Basata itself? Like it's a very interesting name to be
Yeah,
honest.
I love it. I love the name so much. I always say I am Basata. Basata is me because I'm just obsessed with the name. So Basata means simplicity.
Okay.
And I feel like, if you look at our collection, our Instagram brand page or my page also, you will just resonate with the name a lot. Like we are extremely simple in our aesthetics and making sure that it's impactful also. And that's how the name came up. It was a lot of brainstorming sessions with my best friends, late night calls and everything. But yeah, when I thought of Basata, it just fit so well. So yeah.
So when we talk about simplicity in your brand or your brand page itself, so when did you get this ideation or how did you come up with this that I want it to be very simple, not very loud? Like you're creating an impact with simplicity. People tend to go for loud and extravagant things to be impactful. So how are you navigating that?
I think it has a lot to do with my personal style also. I am very minimalist as a person. So that's how Basata started. We started, our first collection was all about khadi, cotton clothes,
really?
and not something that you would see very often. A brand starting with that, and that too a mass premium brand at a very affordable pricing. So we use organic fabrics and everything. So everything was very sweet, subtle. And yeah, as we are growing, we are experimenting with different aspects because as a brand you can't restrict yourself to one thing only. But yeah, the essential foundation of the brand is being simple and impactful, and it has a lot to do with my personal style and my personality. Yeah.
Wow. And initially when you started this, what was your business model, like D2C or D2C?
It was entirely D2C.
D2C.
Yeah.
So there is this thing in the market that when you are starting a D2C brand, you have to just start. You do not innovate at that time. You just have to rush into it. So did you adopt that or you just took your time with crafting what you are selling right now?
I think we took our time. We started small. It was very intentional what we want to do. It was not rushed. we started with 20 styles only. We found a vendor who was actually ready to make like 20 pieces of each style, which is very difficult because these people are very particular about the MOQ.
Yeah.
So we were very sure that okay, we want to launch a limited collection, but it has to be nice, impactful, and we want to give a good experience to our customers. And yeah, it was all figuring it out only, but we tried our best to utilize everything that we already know, with the catalogs, with the like integration of website, because we
Hmm.
didn't have the website in the initial part, so we were using Wix at that time.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the customer feels like authentic and everything. That's
Yeah.
why we used to take their order, take their GPay details using a Google form. Then we used to place an order on Wix and send them the confirmation. So that they're feeling that okay,
Wow.
they're actually ordering from a real brand and it's not like some
Yeah.
homegrown business that you can get ghosted to. So yeah,
That happens so much in India. That's something that people actually worry about.
yeah, still after all these years, because homegrown businesses have really exploded now,
Yeah.
but still there are businesses which will scam you blindly.
Hmm.
So yeah, I understand the customers are also hesitant about a lot of
Yeah,
things. Yeah.
absolutely. And as you mentioned, that you started very small, like with limited capital and stuff. So, what are the three things that you think a brand or a person like 19-year-old is starting their brand, and what things that they should keep in mind, how they should allocate the resources, starting off small, and what they should avoid whilst
Okay.
they're allocating those resources?
So for us, we really gave all in with selecting our vendor. We went on to IndiaMart because like I mentioned that I'm not from Delhi, so I didn't have like connections. I had to
Yeah.
Google everything
Hmm.
and check the reviews. So we went on to IndiaMart, looked for places, took our scooty, moved from Greater Noida to Rohini to Model Town, and a lot of running around. Got the samples ready, tested it out, and then finally we liked somebody in Model Town. So we did our good research. So I think when somebody is starting out, it's very important to understand the kind of product quality and the kind of cost structure you want to give, like very logically speaking, because in today's time you also have Meesho making a lot of money, you also have Zara,
Absolutely.
right? So you need to understand if you just want to make a lot of money or you actually want to create an impact. So understanding the kind of quality you are willing to give, the kind of cost you want your customers to bear, and secondly the customers that you want to serve. Like
Absolutely.
yeah, for me, given in college I understood there's a growing gap between what is easily available and what girls actually want to style from day to day life and brunch and everything. So I knew the kind of audience that I want to serve, so I was very clear in that way. So I think anybody who's starting, they really need to understand that if they want to serve the premium section or they want to create just the day to day basics, so that is very important. And thirdly, I feel the audience that you are most related to, and the passion that you have, because I was really passionate about the kind of clothes that I make. So yeah, that these are the three
But
things.
as you mentioned about the audience, my like experience has, I have seen that there are a lot of people who have shifted their target audience just because the audience that they've targeted initially do not purchase the products and they fumble. They
Yeah.
just get scared. Oh my god, the audience that I've targeted, they're not buying. So I should, shift to a different product. I should shift to the different fabric so that,
Yeah.
at least it sells. So do you think people should do that? And if so, then why?
I think business is something you really understand how to run it when you get into it. So different things work for different brands. For me personally, it takes a lot of time, a lot of showing up to actually start being recognized by your audience, that okay, they know that okay, this is Basata, this looks like Basata. So it's not something that will happen in 6 months. So you have to be consistent with that.
You need to be patient.
Yeah, patience is the key. You really, I have understood this the hard way, that you have to keep on showing
Yeah.
up no matter what. You are anxious, you're crying, it's fine.
You're crying,
Show
you just
up.
have to show up.
You have to show up. There are a lot of times I'm crying in my office, like, and I'm making sure nobody sees me in my cabin, and then like, as soon as somebody comes and I'm like, yeah, tell me
You
what's
have to
up.
show them you're hunky-dory,
Yeah,
everything is good.
yeah, everything is good, because if they see me stressed out, they will like, lose it. So
Yeah.
I think it takes time. Business takes a lot of time to actually settle down. It's not an easy thing. Today, like, entering into the fashion industry especially had become very easy because of
Absolutely.
Instagram and these other platforms, but sustaining it takes a lot of effort. So
Hmm.
I don't think like, shifting very quickly is something that I would do. But yeah, different things work for different brands. So like, to each
Absolutely.
their own. Yeah.
And what is your vision with what's on the vision board of Basata?
Ah, there's a lot. Like, I like to take things one step at a time. So right now, just focusing on making sure that the customer gets the best experience. Like there are no loopholes from technical point of view,
Yes.
and like, the process is smooth and everything. But then eventually the long-term growth would really be to have an offline store, to go global, like
Hmm.
seeing Basata and runways, like,
Oh my
in
God,
Paris and all,
that's
and
huge.
having our own, like, premium collection. Because yeah, we have a lot of things that are extremely creative and not something that is directly for our, like, current audience, but
Hmm.
like, we are trying to implement a different section altogether in Basata, which is which could be at a different price point, but there is a lot of personal touch and a lot of creativity that goes into those pieces. So yeah, this is the long term vision, like, going global. Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned that there's so many brands out there, especially because of Instagram. What I have seen that clothing market is super saturated. Like me and my team went for a vox pop in horse cars, and there are so many, when you think of horse cars,
Yeah, that's why it's mine immediately. Okay, Oscars.
so when you think of horse cars, so that's a market that's considered a South Delhi market, and every shop that's there, we spoke to every founder, and they said, we opened in horse cars expecting that we'll get customers and they'll buy a sweater for 3,000 rupees, and they end up selling three pieces for 1,000 actually.
Yeah.
And then I ended up in this last shop, and that woman I entered and I asked, how's your business? And she ended up crying.
Oh my god.
She said, my rent is 2 lakh rupees and I go penniless every day. And I asked why. So she said, the market is super saturated and India is a very slow country when it comes to fashion. So when I speak with you as somebody who is representing the clothing industry right now, what is wrong with the clothing industry right now? Why is it so saturated and why people are not able to sustain in this market?
I think, yeah, the competition is really a lot now, because there is just so low entry barriers. Because of Instagram, you don't need a physical store anymore, you don't need a structure. So that's why, like, it's easier for business owners to enter the market. And if you have noticed, like, the customer behavior has also shifted a lot. For us, like,
Okay.
ordering something from a homegrown brand 4 years ago would be really like, we'll give it a lot of thought. But now people are more accepting, like, they would like to order things. So yeah, like, people are also betting on it, like the people who want to start the business. So yeah, I think, like, it's really important to keep up with it. You can't control the competition. Everybody wants fame, everybody wants to grow their business. So yeah, the competition will keep on coming. It's on you, like, you have to keep up with it. You have to keep on experimenting, you have to keep launching new things, you have to connect with your audience. There is, like, in today's time, I think you can't be focusing on one thing. You have to do everything at the very same time. You can't let go of one thing. You can't let go, okay, I'm going to be slow with my launches because I'm focusing on social media right now. No, you have to, like, do launches every month, like, according to your pace, and also focus on social media, connecting with your audience, on customer experience, the supply chain, all of it. If you're lacking anywhere, you are going to be left behind. That's the sad truth, but it is how it is. Like, you have to keep up with it. I think it's about every business, but yeah, since fashion has become really accessible, that's why the competition here is a lot. But like, you have to keep on innovating, otherwise like it's going to be hard for anyone. Like there
Like there is this thing, no, when we say कि fast fashion India के अंदर बहुत ज़्यादा जल्दी accept नहीं किया जाता. When I saw Numi tops, for me and my friend, it was a cultural shock. We were looking at those tops for half an hour and thinking like, where did we go wrong? Because everybody was wearing it, and for us it was very difficult to accept it, right? But teenagers wear it, young girls wear it, and they feel comfortable doing that. But I think somewhere around that, do you think India is losing its very own fashion sense, trying to accept the westernization?
No, I don't really agree with that. Personally, even I have never bought from Savannah or New Me because, I really doubt the quality. But regardless, there's a lot of audience which they don't like to spend too much. They don't care about the quality so much, and you have to accept that because, as owners, we are always obsessed with, okay, I have to improve the quality a lot, and that would also increase the pricing, and that
Absolutely.
pricing might not fit certain group of people, and you have to understand your target audience that way. If you're targeting college audience and 16-year-old teenagers and everything, you have to make sure that the price point is low. And Savannah, Numi, they're doing exactly that. Their target audience is college going kids, influencers, content creators. So I think they're making money out of it. But for brands who, I've also seen a lot of brands with a higher price point, they're doing well. They have their own identity. I feel everything boils down to how you're able to express yourself.
I do believe that, but at the same time, I think there is a lot of duplication in the market when it comes to styles, when it comes to creativity. That's something I believe clothing market has been, bounded to.
Yeah.
There's so much duplication of products, even on Meesho, if we see.
Yeah,
There's so many duplication of products. If something is available at a good quality but at a higher rate, it won't be considered. But something that is available at a cheaper quality and a cheaper rate, that would be sold in bulk. So this is something I believe initially is the issue. But when we talk about Basata, how do you think that Basata is trying to map its way, trying to avoid all the duplication, and what's the USP that Basata stands for in the market?
I think for us, product quality and customer experience is really very important. We as a brand, we genuinely care a lot about how our customer is feeling. We are always making exceptions for people. We are super understanding. And of course, we are also learning at the very same time. But I feel in today's time, design alone is really enough. You have to, there needs to be a brand vision, there needs to be that brand identity, because people, they don't need to feel attached to the product but to the brand, because you'll be there are, because like you said, there are a lot of duplications. There is there are similar style with little variations, and that's how the fast fashion works. So it's very important to make that stand out by actually showing what is going inside, relating with the audience, showing them what is the authentic side of the brand, so that they have that trust. They're attaching themselves to you. For me, I have started showing up a lot on Basata now.
Yeah.
Because it's very important.
I've seen the post, love it.
Yeah, so it's really important that they know who's behind all of this. If they see my journey, they are related to the story now.
Yeah.
And so every time something shows up about Basata, they will talk about it. It is not just about okay, this rosemary dress that is really selling well on Basata. They will forget the name. But they will care about the brand, that okay, that was the founder, she told her story, I really like it, I would like to hear more about it. So I think you need to find that exception for yourself, that okay, this is something I will do differently, because you can have a lot of same things, but you can't have the same founder. So you have to.
You can not have the same founder.
Yeah. So your personal touch, your.
I'll be coding that in the description.
Yeah. So we do this a lot. Every time we say a bangle line, I need this on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why it's very important to have your own identity, and showing up more on your brand. Brand vision, brand identity is so important in today's time. You see so many brands doing the same thing, but some brand is doing like much better and the other one is not, because how the other person is marketing. Because the traditional term जो दिखेगा वो बिकेगा is so relevant. It never goes out of style. The way you're telling your story, every product, every collection, there's a story behind it. Like our latest collection, Teen Romance. Like we named it Teen Romance because there's a teen romantic in all of us. No matter what, like how old we grow, there is a teen romantic who wants to do these cute things and wants to dress up very nicely for their boyfriends, and it's Valentine, so I want to dress up red. So that was the reason behind naming it Teen Romance. And all the, if you look at our pieces from that collection, everything is related. You could see that okay, these are from the same collection. So telling that story behind everything, that the customer just gets attached to the brand that way, and that can't be
You
duplicated.
capture the emotion of the customer in that.
And that can't be duplicated, right? Absolutely. So that's the thing.
Great. And what was that one moment that you thought that, I'm proud of the brand that I'm building and this is the proud moment for Basata?
Okay, there honestly, me as a person, I always feel that okay, I'm lacking, this is not good enough. But in the early days, we received a small letter from our customer. She wanted to exchange her order, so in her return package, she sent this small letter, and she was writing, "I'm really happy with the products and the whole customer experience." I still have that note, and of course, I will treasure it for life because, I really. Like I said, I'm really attached to my customers a lot. In the first 2 years, I was handling the customer care, Instagram messages, and everything. And there are a lot of friends that I've made out of Basata, our customers. So I'm really very close to them. So whatever feedback, whatever they share, their stories, I feel really good. I will take a screenshot and tell everyone, okay, see, mama, I have to send every, review to her. So, these things, they really make me happy, and seeing, repeat orders.
This actually just shows how connected you are with your brand itself.
I'm obsessed.
You're obsessed.
So every repeat order, I will go and see that okay, this person has ordered 15 times. Oh my god, look at this, Shubhankar, come see. So these things really make me happy that the people are actually liking. They're ordering again and again. They have this color and then they're ordering another color in the same product. So these things really make me happy. And now eventually, seeing that we have built a good team, starting from a small office, I live on rent here because I'm not from Delhi. So I had one room dedicated to Basata.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was small room, I think this size. Yeah, actually, I'm not even exaggerating, this size. So we used to pack stuff here, and everything used to happen that and the other side was my room. So I used to get up, go there. And now finally having my own office and having that discipline, having a team, having people coming to the office timely, they're there is attendance sheet and everything.
Oh
that
my god,
structure.
that's great. You have the attendance sheet.
So all of that, it really tells you that you have actually built something, that you're impacting. There are people who are depending on you for their livelihood. That is a really big responsibility. Absolutely. But also that you feel that okay, I'm actually doing something relevant, I think.
Absolutely you are. And talking about the creative side of Basata, so how did you come up with this, all the collections that you have launched right now, and how you come up with the designs, who is the designer behind it, and what you actually contributed when it comes to the designs and the naming of the products?
So it like I said, it has a lot to do with my personal style also. When I think that okay, I'll be wearing this, then I feel confident about launching it. And Shubhankar, like I've mentioned, that he handles the designs mostly, and I'm mostly approving it that okay, this is nice, this no, not liking it. I also have to make sure that I'm looking at it from a business point of view. That okay, this will sell, this will not. I am that filter. That okay, it's about creativity, of course, but you also have to understand what works for your brand and what works for your target audience. So I in our collection we make sure that if you're launching 10 pieces, 5 of them are for the mass audience, 2 of them they have to be extremely premium, and the 3 of them they have to be very creative. So like we bifurcate everything like that,
Yeah.
and we have to we ensure that there is something for everyone. So that's how we do it.
That's amazing. And initially, did you do the pop-ups that brands do now?
Unfortunately, we have never done that.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, so that is something that I would really like to try, but we haven't done it yet because I feel like, as a brand, we have always been moving from one thing to another so
Yeah.
quickly that it has always been fixing our things. But yeah, that is
Wow, you've
something,
never done a pop-up. I'm still
yeah,
processing that.
yeah, but that's something I really want to do.
Yeah,
Like,
you
yeah,
should.
yeah, I would
It's
like,
super fun. It's
yeah,
super fun for clothing brands. Yeah.
yeah, so I would really like to try that,
Yeah.
but yeah, I have not done a pop-up per se.
So aiming to that, hoping you do the pop-ups soon.
Yeah.
And being a founder takes a lot of your time and energy, right? So how do you manage your professional personal life, especially being a woman? I want to get into that, but later. Tell me about this right now.
Yeah, so for me, gladly, my family and my friends, everyone is really very supportive. And I also in the starting days, there is no balance really. You're always working. You're not able to dissect between, okay, my work hours are over. And I think at this point, the personal and business life, they have just merged. So I don't even realize that, okay, my professional life is over right now. I need to focus on my. It's never there. I think it's
Yeah.
just a mixture of everything. Once I get to home, then I will right away. I'll open my laptop right away, and I'll be doing something, checking mails and all. So I try to get some time on weekends, meet my friends, everyone, and in today's time, everybody is so busy. It's so difficult to find your friends at the same time. But gladly for me, everybody is always so supportive and so cheering for me. They will come to my office, and recently, my nani came to my office for the first time.
Oh wow, that's
And
so sweet.
yeah, so they have I'm the first person in my bloodline to start a business. So they were not expecting when I told them that okay, yeah, we are doing decent. They were not expecting okay, there are so many machines and everything. When she got there, she was so happy. She was so happy. She got a little emotional, and that made me feel so good. That okay,
My
that's so sweet. I made her sit on my chair and everything, clicked her pictures, and then it was all over their WhatsApp statuses, groups, and everything. So I feel
That
like,
is so sweet.
yeah, my family is really proud of me. My friends also, they have seen me start from nowhere to this, and so they are very appreciative of that, and they love to support me all the time. So I never really have to struggle between this.
Wow. That's
what
absolutely a boon for you, I must say.
yeah, yeah,
So,
definitely.
being a woman in this industry, has there been challenges and expectations?
Definitely. Tell me about it. I feel like that is something no matter what, how progressive you are, but some things are just internalized, I feel. They will definitely underestimate you. I know for a fact that, whenever there were discussions about website, technical parts, my opinions were the last one to be heard on. And that used to be so annoying because eventually they will, come down to the same thing. But it was just okay, Shubhankar's opinion were always more important on these things, although he is not even related to this. He's always about creative side, and I'm handling these things. But you go for meetings anywhere, especially when you're dealing with this manual work a lot. Right now I'm looking at my offices, so whenever I meet brokers and all, they would tell it to some if there's a guy,
Oh my God.
they will show the property to him, and then he has to say okay, she will be making the final decision.
Yes.
Okay? So they will definitely underestimate you a lot, and you have to speak louder than everyone else. But that is something I think it's very important to learn. You have to make your peace with it. You have to challenge them continuously, and
It is
eventually,
super annoying, to be honest.
yeah, honestly, it's so frustrating because you are expected to be nice, and whenever you are loud and whenever you are angry, you will receive a backlash. They will be surprised. Although it will be a very normal thing otherwise, but you are expected to be nice and composed, and this.
You know what actually irritates me? Recently, I spoke with the founder, and we were speaking about, how a founder has their daily routine and how they are having their different expectations, and it's very difficult to manage your work, and you have to show everybody that you're happy and stuff. So this is a male guy. He I composed myself at that time. I didn't say anything, but he had the audacity to say this, that girls को जैसे hormone changes होते हैं,
Oh
he
God.
said that जैसे hormone changes होते हैं वैसे ही founder को हर दूसरे दिन होते हैं. So at that time, I just felt that there is no respect for women founders in the market, because it is somewhat expected कि अभी के लिए आप business कर लो,
Yeah.
eventually you'll end up being married and you'll have kids and you'll shut this down.
Yeah, it's
And that is
never
very
the
annoying. That is very annoying.
priority. Like people, it's very hard for them to accept that, okay, this is her priority. It's
Yeah.
not marriage, it's not kids.
Yeah.
Like she will, like, pause them, those things for to focus on the business. You're always expected to, okay, देख लेना क्या होना है उसका, but this is more important.
This is more important. Yeah, it's very
Like,
annoying.
it's, I don't know why, like, that's something that's so ingrained in everyone. It's very difficult to change
Despite
that.
being so progressive, there's so
Yeah,
many people who
exactly,
are educated
exactly,
despite
exactly. That's what, yeah. Yeah, because like I said, it's so internalized, because like, there are a lot of women as well.
that. Yeah.
They're like, they feel that this is okay. Yeah, that's how you're expected to be. And so you have to challenge yourself also. You have to look at your behavior and just notice that, okay, I'm being, like, too people pleasing right now. Like, I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
I need to, like, be rigid about what I feel, what is my opinion on this, and I don't have to just accept it. I don't have to be nice to anybody just because they're there. Like, nobody is asking you to do that. So we just put ourselves on that pedestal that we have to be nice to everyone, and like, everybody needs to like us, and we need to nurture them for no reason.
This is
So
the
just-
reason boss lady term exists.
Yeah, so you
absolutely.
just have to be very strong, and you need to check on yourself continuously that, okay, you're not doing, because it is very behavioral. You are like, you've seen this in the society all over, so it's like something, there's a pattern. You have
It has been normalized. It has
it
been
is
very
extremely normalized. You see, look at your family in itself, then like,
Yeah.
you'll see a lot of it. So I feel like, it's on us to break the chain.
Absolutely, and you're
Yeah,
doing that.
yeah, absolutely. Thankfully, my parents, everyone is super progressive, and if they
Yeah.
don't understand something, at least they're open-minded.
Yeah.
They will try to understand it, learn
And that's
it.
very important.
Yeah,
That's very
yeah,
essential.
because I feel being open-minded is very important.
Mhm.
Because you might not understand the other person, but you need to at least try to accept that, okay, yeah, this is also a version of this.
Yeah.
You know, it not necessarily has to be same as what you want. So yeah.
And what advice you would give as a woman entrepreneur today, a very successful woman entrepreneur today, to young girls who are starting something of their own? Maybe women who want to start something of their own, have family, but choose not to. What advice would you give to them to move forward?
So I would really say that, like, you don't have to have everything figured out already. You need to just start. That is something everyone says, honestly. But yeah, because like, you will never gain confidence by just waiting and researching. You actually have to get into action. You have to get experience in order to understand what really works, what doesn't. Like, I am still learning to this day. Every day is a new learning experience. So till the time you're just like, researching, waiting for the perfect moment, it will not happen. You have to get into it. Start small. You don't have to take a lot of risk. Start small. Be intentional with whatever you decide. Be a quick learner. I think that is very important. You can't be lazy about it. You have to be disciplined. Be a quick learner. Understand your mistakes. Make those changes. Understand your customers. It's very important to put them on the priority list. So yeah, I think if you're doing all of that, eventually everything will work out. Yeah, you
And
will stress out a lot, and everything it will have a lot of breakdowns, but it
You
will
keep
work
going.
out. Keep going. Like, it will, you have to have a lot of patience. Because on this journey, you are always figuring it out. Like, you are always progressing. You're always moving from one scale to another, a scale you have not seen before. So it is a whole new challenge. You are suddenly hiring so many people. There is like you're meeting with investors and everything, so you are continuously learning, so that will never stop. So there's no point waiting a lot. Do your research, be intentional about things. I'm not saying jump to it, but yeah, don't wait for too long, because you'll only get confidence when you get experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you could go back to when you were building Basata, when you were brainstorming with your friends about the name of the brand,
Yeah.
what would you tell to your younger self, or what would you advise your younger self to do at that given time?
Yeah, I would really ask her to trust the process, have patience. It will work out, because there have been days it has been so difficult for me, like for months. And once I decide that okay, I am going to figure it out, and then after a few months I feel like okay, that was nothing. Shruti, this, you imagine you're doing this right now and you were like stressing out, having breakdowns over that. So you really need to trust the process, and you need to increase your threshold.
Absolutely.
Don't get overwhelmed too easily. You will figure it out. Trust yourself, trust the process, and if God has put in this idea in you, that you're meant for this. And honestly, for me, I always believed, from the very first day, that I'm meant for this. That feeling was there.
Is it because you're connecting the dots, or is it because now that you have reached to this pinnacle?
No, I think from the very beginning, I always dreamt about this, that having my own company. I remember when there was no thought about having a clothing brand, all of that. I was speaking to my relatives, and they asked me, "What do you want to do after this?" And I I said, "I want to become a CEO." And that was just so random for them. Like, okay, what do you plan? How do you plan to become that? I said, I don't know. I will figure it out.
You'll see one day. You'll
Yeah,
see.
you will see. And 2 years later.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I always knew that I'm meant for this, to run a brand. So yeah, believing in that idea, not forgetting that, trusting yourself is something I will tell my younger self. That don't forget it. Just stay stronger than you think you are. You
know why you started it.
Yeah, know why you started it, and believe yourself. Yeah.
Absolutely. So now, coming to a new segment that we have recently launched in the Founder Sense, called Build Your Own Brand, just to show that how versatile founders are. It's not just about their brand, that entrepreneurship can be as versatile.
Yeah.
So, if I give you 20,000 rupees today, how would you utilize it to build something of your own, your target audience, your vision for the brand, and if you could come up with a name?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I always knew that okay, I will expand into different things also. So I always wanted to start an Airbnb business, and something I know I will do eventually. So yeah, if you give me 20,000 rupees, and that would not be enough to buy a property. But
something you take out of Basata as well.
Yeah, so but there are a lot of options. People don't know you can actually manage properties also and take commission out of it if you just want to get that experience. You can have rent it out, and there are a lot of options. So I will definitely try to run an Airbnb business. I will try to.
Is there any particular reason for that, like about the market?
Yeah, of course, the market it's a really growing business that is there. But other than that, that's something that I really enjoy a lot.
Oh,
like homes and decor and everything. So I really enjoy that. So I would really like to, make different homes and not just houses. So yeah. Give them my own touch, and see how people like it, understand those things. So yeah, that is something that I would really like to try on, give a house my own personality, understand the kind of people that would be interesting depending on the place, of course. So yeah, that's how I would like to utilize my business. Do that listing on Airbnb, make sure there's a housekeeping, and or if the budget is restricted, I would do it myself. But yeah, I would invest in decor, and at this point, living in Delhi on my own, I have become the queen of jugaading things, and figure out how to make things aesthetic in a low budget. So I know how to do that. So I would utilize those like those 20,000 that way, and I would really
Great,
like
I'll
to.
give you 20,000 for the home decor. Rest you have to find out the property.
Yeah, done. And I would really like to call it, I guess, slow stays, because
Wow.
that is something I would want for myself eventually, a slow life, really.
Your
And
brand names are very evidently justifying your own personality,
yeah,
like
that's
Basara, Slow Stays. So
yeah,
let's say amen to Slow Stays. Hope that comes up soon.
yeah, definitely.
Right.
That's on camera.
We are manifesting to the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. So finally, our concluding segment, that's a rapid fire. Zara or homegrown brands?
Homegrown brands all the way.
Wow. Oversized or fitted fashion?
Fitted for sure.
Okay. One fashion trend that should disappear.
Velvet. I hate it.
Really?
I hate velvet.
Okay. One brand doing amazing marketing.
I think Goat Life.
Okay.
Yeah.
One mistake new fashion founders make.
Choosing aesthetics over brand structure.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll be all about pretty pictures, pretty grids, but not understanding the basic essential things needed for to run a successful business.
Can you just walk us through that? What actually they require to run a successful business?
I think having a particular management system in in your mind, and understanding everything is not about pretty collection. It's also, there are a lot of things. It's also about marketing, it's about cash flows, it's about supply chain, asset management. There are a lot of things that people miss out. When they think about fashion industry, they will just think about, okay, I'll have to launch a nice aesthetic page, hire a few influencers, do a nice photo shoot, and that's it. That might buy you some time at the entry level, but when you want to scale, you'll have to look at your cash flow, you have to sit through it with your accountant and everything, and I feel like people miss out on those parts. But that is what will scale your business, and not just aesthetic
Ensure
pictures.
sustainability for your
Yeah,
brand.
of course.
Absolutely. And my last question that we are concluding this podcast with: if Basata had a celebrity face, who would it be?
I think definitely Alia Bhatt.
Really?
Yeah.
Like because of the minimalism?
Yeah, definitely minimalism, and I think her style is also very minimal yet very elevated. So I think that really resonates with Basata, and she's my personal favorite too. So yeah, definitely
Great.
Alia Bhatt. Yeah.
So it was completely an honor hosting you here,
Thank you
and
so
thank you so
much.
much for
Same
sitting
here.
down with the Founders Chives. Thank you so much for your time,
Thank
Shruti.
you. Thank you, Sahani.